Okay, so in this video we're doing assassinations, talking about like bosses and acolytes and all that in this video. We'll start with the acolytes. So, one that people tend to struggle and understand is Mania. Mania has access to Titania Spellbind. Even if you are prime sure-footed, this fucker can still stagger you. There are some stagger immunities that he cannot bypass, but there's not many. Easiest way to counter Mania is if he fucking lifts you in the air, hop in your operator, teleport far away, go back in your frame. Wait until that ends. Or, I'll quickly show this quickly and then I'll show you the Spellbind ability that he uses. Or, if you get Spellbind, hop in your operator, lock down him, and then go back in your frame. That will give you enough breathing room to kill him before he lifts you in the air again. We'll go to Titania. There you go. He uses that ability. See, the trick is, if you can master your own Warframe's abilities, then you can counter these Acolytes. The Acolytes also use other Warframe abilities, so if you know other Warframe's abilities and their weaknesses and their strengths, you can use that against the Acolytes since it's the same abilities. And as the E reworks these abilities, the Acolytes get the same treatment, and they receive everything but the rework hit. Put a pin in that because that will come in handy when we get to Torment and we get to Shadow Stalker. And also Angst, because Angst is Valkyr and people want a Valkyr rework, so there's that. Cool. So Mania is out of the way. Mania is a melee-based acolyte, so keep your distance. Alrighty, Misery. Misery has access to Necrosis 4 and has access to Necrosis 1. Misery can also Greybar if Misery uses Necrosis 4. Misery can do two things with Necrosis 4. It can summon regular infested, or it can summon all the acolytes that you have killed and make you fight them again. So we go to Necros. Misery's abilities are these too. Preferably you want to kill Misery before Misery does this. And even though Misery is Greybarred, if Misery is Greybarred, Misery can still be slowed down with Bluminat. So it's better to just turn off your slow effect if it immediately goes into its unique special thing. And Misery is mostly melee based, so again, keep your distance. The only ranged attack Misery has is Soul Punch, and also if it summons the other acolytes. Now let's get into Malice. Another one that people struggle to take down. Mostly the ones that annoy people are Malice, Violence, and Mania. I've heard some people complain about Misery, but it's mostly Violence and Malice that people hate, with sometimes Mania. Malice. Malice is the Meg Acolyte. You get the little fucking index drones and you get the Meg Bubble. If you are Meg Bubbled, dodge roll. How you know if you're Meg Bubble? Malice does an animation where he puts his hand forward. If he does that, you're fucking Meg Bubbled. Or if you start taking your own damage, don't keep attacking. Dodge roll and then attack him. Because he will get redirect your own damage back at you. You can trick him into walking into his own mag bubble and then he dies from his own attack. But it's better to just dodge roll out of his bubble and then fucking kill him than to try and get him to kill himself by his own attack. So if you see this effect over your fucking character, dodge roll. Now we're gonna get into Angst. Angst is just, well, in our melee class, so keep your distance. But when she goes into her 4, she goes into basically Valkyr's 4. So, basically just go into Valkyr. Basically just kill her before she goes into Valkyr's 4. And gray bars. And if DE does any changes in the near future to Valkyr, then that ability will also get affected. Keep that in mind. When DE rework frames, if an enemy uses the same ability as a Warframe, that enemy gets affected by that. So basically go back and learn what that frame does, because whatever that frame does now is also what the enemy that also does that frame's special ability will do. Which segues to our next thing, which is Torment. So Torment originally had Hydroid's abilities, as always. So originally Torment had Hydroid's abilities, which Torment still fucking does. But Torment's abilities originally, all it did is give Torment Gray Bar and Status Clean and staggered you. But now, because of the Hydroid rework, Torment moves fast in the title surge, Status Cleans, gets Gray Bar, and also deals corrosive damage. So you gotta be careful about that. Because of the Hydroid rework, Torment got reworked too. Now we move on to the last Acolyte, and then I'll do the guide on the Stalkers, because, yeah. Violence. The most annoying Acolyte for most people. Again, keep your fucking distance. He's melee based. Also because if you get too close to him, he nullifies your ability. He has access to Frost Ice Wave. And he has access to Banshee Silence. So this ability. And this ability. Basically, if you're dealing with violence, just use CC abilities. Because an Acolyte that can't fight is a dead Acolyte. Banshee Silence is a helmet subsume you can put on other frames, which disables Xmas attacks and including Acolyte attacks and just enemy attacks in general. You get Banshee from the Tenno Lab in the dojo. Some abilities are entirely violence immune, though, like Nidus's mutation stacks, Corvex's status immunity. But it's better to just handle violence than play a guessing game if you're safe with violence or you're not safe with violence. Which, another thing about violence, I'm gonna give you a tip on. If you're playing a frame that's really good at getting finisher kills, cough cough Ash, run Arcane Trickery. You get an invisibility which violence cannot nullify. Acolytes already can't attack you if you're invisible unless you get in, unless you get in front of one of their radial attacks. or you are dumb enough to attack while in Malice's bubble and you didn't dodge roll. But, yeah, Acolytes won't attack you if you're invisible. Violence, on the other hand, can cancel out your invisibility, except Arcane Trickery. He cannot cancel this out. So if you are invisible from Arcane Trickery, Violence cannot do fuck all. He is hindered fucking useless. He is hindered useless, entirely useless, because he can't see you, he can't disable your abilities, all that shit. So that's good. Now to get onto the other thing. We will start with Protector Stalker. Protector Stalker is all fucking offense. He has fuck all defense. He's a glass cannon. He attacks you with Despair, attacks you with Dread. He loves to melee you. The most common attack you'll see from Protector Stalker is Smokescreen, which he's not hard to find if he smokescreens. You'll just see this black, shadowy cloud chasing you around in the map. If you see that, fucking shoot it, and he'll just pop like a balloon and leave. Stalker, on the other hand, Shadow Stalker, has access to Reckoning, has access to, which is Oberon's ability, which is the 4, I'll show you that, and he also has access to Nyx's ability, and he has access to Slash Dash. And also Radio Javelin. If he does Nyx's ability, don't fucking shoot him, wait for him to exit it, and then attack him, because he'll absorb all damage dealt to you and redirect it back at you, which, speaking of Nyx, since Nyx is getting a rework in the near future, definitely learn how Nyx's absorb works when she gets reworked, because that will also affect Stalker. Not just like Stalker the enemy, but most likely will affect playable Stalker and also Stalker Spectre. We'll get into Reckoning. Oberon's Reckoning. Stalker Spectre has access to Reckoning. And also Stalker himself, but Stalker himself rarely uses Reckoning. Rarely uses it. Radio Javelin and Slash Dash, there you go. There's no point in me really showing you Break Stalker, because you will never see Break Stalker in Steel Path, like, ever. So, there's that.